Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores coming with a burgundy and gold Rico report. A lot to discuss today, though. Of course, we got to talk about everything important that went down in training camp today. You know, important notables and quotables from players and coaches. And you already know by now, we go position group by position group, starting with the quarterbacks, going all the way down to the DBs. But there's several other things we also have to discuss. First of all, the new field conditions. How did the field hold up against the rain? The new name being narrowed down to 3 options. The Washington football team partnering with a sports betting company, and much more. But before we get into all of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you go check out that De'Ami Brown film session along with the Jamin Davis one. I'm still working on more film sessions for the rookies. Hopefully I get most of them done before the regular season hits, so be on the lookout for that. Of course, check out the rest of my channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. And without further ado, man, let's get it. All right, so first of all, it's been reported today that the Washington football team has narrowed their list of potential names down to 3. Jason Wright said this on the latest episode of Making the Brand. There's like a whole series of how they're rebranding the organization, logo, name, and even just beyond that with like marketing, merchandise, all of that type of stuff. FAN, fan group, all of that type of everything that's on the non-football side and how we're becoming a better organization off the field as well. Definitely go and check out that series if you have the time. It's pretty informative. But that's really interesting that the name is now narrowed down to 3 names. Of course, I hope something with Wolves is one of them. I feel like it's undeniable. Anytime there's like a Twitter poll, Instagram, anywhere, any type of survey, Wolves is always the largest percentage. Like always more than 50% itself, and then everything else shares the last little percent left. And then you even have like kids that love it, howling. Jason Wright has even replied to it. Ron Rivera has even said that he likes the Wolves name. He said he likes a couple of others, but Wolves was definitely one of them. Again, I doubt it's going to be Red Wolves. They've already said they're going to get away from anything that starts with red and stuff like that. So you never know, man. End up being Wolves or Wolverine, whatever. As long as it's something with a wolf, I'm happy. And it seems like the majority of the Burgundy and Gold Nation will be as well. Not everybody, but there's no name that's going to make everybody happy at the end of the day. And we have to accept that. And whatever we do, even if we don't have the logo on the side of the helmet, I would like the numbers how we did. Either way, it's cool with me, man. I just care about keeping this same shade of Burgundy and Gold. Jason Wright already said we're going to stay the Burgundy and Gold with the new name, new logo, rebranding and all of that. But I want us to stay this darker and deeper Burgundy and Gold that we have now in comparison to what we used to have before the Washington football team in recent years. That was more like a red and yellow, and I didn't like that. Next up, the Washington football team becomes the first NFL team to partner with American Gaming to promote responsible sports betting. The American Gaming Association, AGA, has a public service campaign titled Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly. The Washington football team will connect with the Have a Game Plan in stadium activations, sponsored content on the WashingtonFootball.com, and campaign promotion on the team's upcoming preseason radio and television broadcasts. The season-long campaign will launch during the team's first home preseason game on August 20th versus the Cincinnati Bengals. That's this Friday. I will be live streaming that, of course. The Washington football team's preseason and television broadcast will include 20-second spots encouraging fans to bet responsibly and directing fans to AGA's Have a Game Plan website for resources and other information. Sports betting is now legal and live in 22 states and the District of Columbia, DC. And during the NFL season, 6 additional states are expected to launch as well. And the AGA launched their Have a Game Plan in late 2019 to educate sports fans on the principles of responsible sports betting. And as the first NFL team to join the campaign, the Washington football team joins official campaign partners DraftKings, FanDuel, Monumental Sports and Entertainment, NASCAR, NHL, PGA Tour, Sightline Payments, Sinclair Broadcast Group, Vegas Golden Knights, and the UFC. We are the first team to bridge that gap And I'm pretty sure Dan Snyder, you know, first of all, ever since Ron Rivera's been here, Jason Wright's been here, he's been doing everything right. He's actually been a good owner. Has it made up for the last 30 years of just terrible decision making and tyranny? I don't know. But I have to admit that these past 2 years, Dan Snyder has been actually a great owner. And this is just his way to get out in front of things. Remember, we were the first team when COVID first started to decide that all of our coaches and staff members and players will do everything, and our scouts especially. That was a big one. We're going to work virtually. We were the first one to just pull everybody away and err on the side of caution and safety. And then Dan Snyder again is getting ahead of this right here with the sports betting, because he not only wants sports betting, of course he's huge on that. That's going to be one of the main parts of his new stadium. Like, I'm pretty sure whichever area has the least gambling regulations and rules and restrictions will probably be where the new stadium ends up after the FedEx Field lease ends in 2025. But he also wants to promote smart gambling. He wants to make sure he's on the right side of PR. I mean, we've already seen him with this kind of voluntary suspension that he's taken, where his wife, Tanya Snyder, is now officially taking over all of the daily activities and present for all of the meetings and things like that, while Dan Snyder's just kind of in the background working on the stadium and things like this, making moves to make this next stadium that's going to get built experience way better. Just the overall fantastic experience, because the new stadium is probably going to be state of the art, like the Rams and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta and things like that. But then I'm pretty sure it's also going to be heavily gambling infused. I think he's going to even surpass the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium as far as like slot machines and everything in the stadium. You can do sports betting right there as well. May have like kiosk and computer screens where you can do stuff like that. I would not be surprised. So that sounds fun. Sounds like our future stadium is really going to be state of the art, and it's going to probably launch a new paradigm in what stadiums should be like. Next up, the field conditions. It rained today, but Ron Rivera was actually happy about it. After practice, Ron Rivera addressed the media and said it was important to him for his players to get some experience playing in the elements. And then at the same time, the field conditions were beautiful even with the rain. Remember last year, in pretty much every year I could think of before that, if it rained, we couldn't even practice the day after. But we practiced during the rain, because remember, Ron Rivera this offseason, along with FedEx Field getting a huge makeover, I mean the biggest changes to the field conditions since FedEx Field was first created back in the 90s. But Ron Rivera also took it upon himself to make sure that the practice fields in Ashburn were improved. They didn't get as much of a makeover as FedEx Field did, so hopefully we don't have a repeat of that 49ers game a couple of years ago. We shouldn't. But even the practice fields are way better than they used to be. And again, you can tell by the fact that it rained, and not only did they not have to practice indoors the next day, but they could even practice outdoors while it was raining. I don't think people understand how big of a difference that is. And again, I like the fact that Ron Rivera wants the players getting used to practicing in the elements. You don't want to get to game day, random week, maybe playing like the Chiefs or something, and it's raining, and now Ryan Fitzpatrick's overthrowing the ball because the ball is slipping out of his hands. Receivers and tight ends and running backs can't catch the ball and hold on to the ball. Punt returners especially can't field the ball properly. So he wanted to make sure everybody got valuable experience with rain. I'm pretty sure Ron Rivera was super excited when it rained, because we did not want to go the entire training camp without practicing it in the rain. And again, the fact that the field conditions are great enough to where we can is something huge that we have not had in previous years. I mean, even during individual drills, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing to Logan Thomas over and over again while it was pouring down raining. And it seemed like they were connecting pretty well. Logan Thomas was securing the ball right out of the air. Good catches, no drops, beautiful. Ryan Fitzpatrick was getting it where it needed to be. By the way that Ryan Fitzpatrick and Logan Thomas were running through that drill, it didn't look like the ball was wet. It just looked like it was raining, and they just had like a air bubble around them. That's good to know. Now, before we get to the actual training camp notes, position by position, you know we got to do the injury update first. First of all, Curtis Samuel worked off to the side. Ron Rivera said that today, they actually would have tried to allow him to wear pads, but since it was raining, they wanted to err on the side of caution. They didn't want him to slip and re-injure his groin and make it any worse. They said that they don't want to unnecessarily expose him, so he just basically did individual drills today. And then Matt Ioannidis finally had pads on for the first time today. Remember, he was placed on the COVID-19 list weeks ago. He's been off of it for like a week and a half. So I guess he's been struggling to recover from having COVID-19 and or just trying to get his conditioning back to football shape from missing so much time. Either way, he's finally back. He wore pads today for the first time. Now to the real training camp notes. Of course, starting with quarterback. And today, despite the rain, was a really good day for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Definitely easily had the best day out of all of the quarterbacks, which is basically something that's happened all training camp. I don't think there's even been one day where Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen or Steven Montez, anybody, has outplayed Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, there was one play where, Montez Sweat, with how towering he is, was in the way in between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Logan Thomas. Ryan Fitzpatrick delivered the ball right over Montez Sweat perfectly for a touchdown. And then even in like 2-minute drills, Ryan Fitzpatrick was clicking and was able to hit Logan Thomas for a touchdown for that play. And then Ron Rivera, after the practice during his presser, acknowledged the fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick doing a great job of leading his receivers. He's throwing the ball to where they're supposed to be and not necessarily just at the receivers. And that's what you get in a veteran quarterback. And that's why our offense is going to be so effective, explosive, and hopefully consistent. Rivera also said that he's starting to just see more comfort in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, he's not just trying things now. Now they look like they're starting to get in the regular season shape. It's not testing things, trying things. It's comfort, it's confidence. So when he's throwing the ball, it's like he knows that it's going to be completed. It's going to be where it needs to be. The receiver's going to be where he needs to be, and the play should be successful. He said that even just mentally, Ryan Fitzpatrick is learning how to anticipate where pass catches are going to be within the scheme of the offense. That's huge. And then on another note, Kyle Allen had an up and down day today. A lot of downs. Granted, he's recovering from an injury. Again, that's why he's been missing practice. That's why he didn't play in Thursday's preseason game against the Patriots. His timing is off. He's inaccurate in everything. He threw an interception right to Danny Johnson. But Ron Rivera said if everything falls into place, if Kyle Allen can stay healthy enough, he will play some in this next preseason game against the Bengals. But he said the main goal is just getting him healthy. I mean, he's a third-string quarterback right now, so it's not like we're trying to rush him back for week 1 or anything. Then offensive line, nothing very noteworthy other than the fact that Eric Flowers actually got the majority of the snaps with the ones today. Again, the majority of training camp, Wes Schweitzer has been getting a lot of the snaps with the ones, but now Eric Flowers got most of them today. So has he surpassed Wes Schweitzer on the depth chart? We'll see. And then tight end, nothing very noteworthy, just Sammis Reyes, John Bates, and Logan Thomas looking good per usual. Sammis Reyes getting better and better, John Bates as well. But again, I like the fact that Sammis Reyes was the last person on the field today after practice. Yesterday, he was one of the last. Today, he was literally the last guy on the field. I mean, at least 30 minutes after practice ended, just still working on things. Yesterday, he caught about 400 passes after practice ended from the jug machine. Today, he was working on blocking after practice, footwork, hands, all of that type of stuff. And then running back, not much noteworthy, but there was a clip of Randy Jordan helping Antonio Gibson learn how to read defenses and basically how to identify what his assignment is and which hole to hit once he figures it out and how to hit it and all of that type of stuff. So they're just working on all of the mental technique, nuanced things with being a running back. Because Antonio Gibson is a freak of nature. He's literally a more athletic Christian McCaffrey. The difference between him and Christian McCaffrey, first of all, is workload. I don't think he'll ever have that serious amount of workload that Christian McCaffrey has, where he's just like 80% of the Carolina offense when healthy. And then also just the mental technique and nuance side of being a running back. Once he figures that out, literally Christian McCaffrey that just gets less carries, but faster and stronger. And then wide receivers, Antonio Gandy-Golden and Dax Milne actually got a few snaps with the first team today. Really interesting. And then De'Ami Brown beat William Jackson III deep down the field on a long touchdown from Ryan Fitzpatrick. So first of all, I love the fact that he's just getting a lot of reps with the ones, because AGG and Dax Milne, this was like some of the first reps they've ever gotten with ones, where De'Ami Brown has been playing with the ones quite a bit throughout training camp. And then the fact that he's out there making plays like this against William Jackson, who's supposedly our best corner on the team, who I think is a top 10 corner in the NFL, is going to probably play like a top 5 one behind this defensive line. So the fact that De'Ami Brown can do that against him, especially deep down the field with the elite speed that William Jackson has, well, I'm super excited. I think De'Ami Brown again has the potential to be our second best receiver. May not be early on, but I definitely think eventually. And then Rivera also said in his presser that the younger receivers like Dax Milne and De'Ami Brown are definitely taking things from the veterans, and he likes the fact that Terry McLaurin and Adam Humphries are helping both of those guys, passing knowledge to them, giving them whatever tips they need, helping them with whatever mistakes they're making, things like that. I love it. And then specifically about Dax Milne, he had one-on-one drill just against a DB today, And he did the Terry McLaurin head fake and got wide open with his route running today. Great to see, man. Great to see Dax Milne making a point to make this roster, or at the very least, a practice squad. And then the D-line, well, overall, the D-line dominated, which is what you kind of expect, but like in one-on-ones, Chase Young beat Charles Leno on a speed rush. Jonathan Allen pushed Eric Flowers into the quarterback. Chase Roulier and Brandon Sheriff slipped towards the end of their reps against Tim Settle and Deron Payne. And Montez Sweat got hands into Cosme and then got right around him. And that was all reported by Rhiannon Walker. So the D-line had a dominant day, of course. I mean, they're just always going to do that. They're the best defensive line in football. So as long as the offensive line can hold their own against this group, it's only going to get easier when they play the rest of the NFL. Also, James Smith-Williams, another guy that's stringing together multiple good days. Definitely something to watch out for. And Ron Rivera again complimented his positional flexibility. And then David Bada also had a good day today as well. Then there was nothing very noteworthy from the linebackers today, but a lot happened with the DBs. First of all, William Jackson III not only got beat by De'Ami Brown deep in one play, but in one-on-one individual drills, he got beat by AGG. So that's a great play by Antonio Gandy Golden if you go look at the clip. But I mean, still, William Jackson III is supposed to be our shutdown corner. You can't let a guy like AGG, who's probably not even going to make the roster, beat you like this. Now, one-on-one drills are literally set up for corners to fail, but still something interesting to keep track of. And then, like I said earlier, Danny Johnson got a pick six on Kyle Allen. That was a good play. It's been reported that Troy Apke has been very physical today. He blew up a couple of plays, so he's getting better and better. He's a way better corner than safety. Still not a great corner, probably not even a good corner, but at least he's not one of the worst corners in the NFL like he was one of the worst safeties in the NFL since we drafted him. And then I'm happy to see Bobby McCain make some plays. He got an interception on Kyle Allen where it was all just veteran experience and reading the play and then using his speed to track down the ball and go get a pick. Kyle Allen tried to throw the ball to Isaiah Wright. Bobby McCain read it and went and made a play. And then Torrey McTyer again, play after play after play. I'm telling you, literally ever since that Friday night practice, Torrey McTyer, I believe, has an interception or a great pass breakup in every practice and in that preseason game. And so he got an interception today off of a tipped Taylor Heineke pass. It wasn't him that tipped it, but he went and got the interception after the ball flew up into the air. And then to end it off, man, the anchor at the end of the race, my boy Benjamin St-Juste had to save the best for last. Today, he had an amazing interception on Ryan Fitzpatrick as he was trying to get the ball to Terry McLaurin in the end zone. He tried to throw it over Benjamin St-Juste. You can't teach his height. You can't teach his length. He went up there and grabbed it with one hand. Great read in zone coverage. It was zone coverage. So that was just a great way to read the quarterback's eyes while also feeling for the receiver, Terry McLaurin in this case, and then going up there and making an athletic play that, again, not too many people in the NFL can make because you cannot teach his blend of athleticism, size, and length. You just can't. And then special teams, Tress Way had a press conference today, and he said some very noteworthy things. First of all, he broke down like what all goes in a successful field goal attempt. He said that he and Dustin Hopkins have a key, so he knows when to start. And then Tress Way and Cameron Cheeseman have their own. And those two must get in sync so that they can finally have some harmony in their field goal tries. So it's just like, it's multiple levels of chemistry that has to become crisp for one singular field goal kick to be successful. Tress Way has to have chemistry with Dustin Hopkins, and Tress Way and Cameron Cheeseman, of course, have to have chemistry with Cameron Cheeseman throwing the ball to Tress Way having to hurry up and get it down. And then again, right back to what I said, Tress Way and Dustin Hopkins have to have chemistry on when Dustin Hopkins should even start running at the ball and how it's going to be placed for him to kick it. All of that type of stuff, man. It's really complicated. There's a lot that goes down in a singular field goal kick. It's a lot of chemistry and nuance, man. And then the most important thing that Tress Way talked about was some of the standout guys on special teams. And this is a good clue of who's going to make this 53-man roster. Because he said he's been on teams where they had the game plan around David Mayo on special teams. Like David Mayo is that special of a special teams player. He said that he's glad to have David Mayo and Jared Norris on the same team. And now our special teams coverage unit should be elite because of those two. And he also said that Derek Forrest is doing well in camp as well in special teams. So do not be surprised if David Mayo, Jared Norris, and Derek Forrest make the team because of their special teams ability. Again, like I said in the previous video, the one I put out last night, special teams coaches like Nate Kaxer get like a handful of guys that they get the pick to make this 53-man roster. It's really important for our special teams to be crisp and consistent. So you got to have a set of playmakers that he personally chooses. So don't be surprised if he likes Troy Apke as well and Troy Apke makes the team because of special teams. And then you even have like a returner like a DeAndre Carter. Don't be surprised if DeAndre Carter makes it over Antonio Gandy Golden and some of these other guys because of his good return ability. So very telling. And then lastly, two more things. First of all, along with RG3 getting the job with ESPN, Alex Smith also is as well. And then lastly, the Washington football team has 88 players, but they have to drop 3 more. They have to get down to 85 by 4 p.m. tomorrow. So be on the lookout for those roster cuts because they're coming. Remember, instead of going from 90 to 53 right before the regular season, throughout training camp and preseason, we go from 90 to 85, which we do tomorrow, going to 85, and then to 80, and then there's a couple of weeks, and then we go to 53. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Also, get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. And you gotta leave a like if you learned anything, if you liked anything. I'm pretty sure you learned something, so you gotta leave a like on the way out. And as always, man, I appreciate all of the support, man. Big shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel. Big shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.